Good evening and welcome to the United Community Channel, and we're back with another transfer talk show, and it's the first one since we beat the Scousers. And it's been a great couple of days, really, hasn't it, in relation to, just being a United fan in general. For the first time in a while, in relation to a result, of course, there's been some positivity around the club, and it's been great. It really has. I suppose the aftermath of the protests outside of Old Trafford before the Liverpool game have all been pretty well received. Thankfully, there's been no idiots or anything to make a mockery of it. Everyone was peaceful, and I think I said it before the game. I said it before the Manchester United Liverpool game that I hoped that given the fact that there was going to be so many people outside of Old Trafford, and the protests were going to be so big, and there was talks of up to 10,000 people there in relation to the protests. It all went off without a hitch, and I think what I said before it, I think happened. I was hoping that the atmosphere and the frustration that fans have had for the Glazers and the ownership of the club in general was left outside of Old Trafford, and that we just brought a good atmosphere into the ground, which I thought we could see basically from minute one. And it was great. So, happy days, a good couple of days in relation to being a Manchester United fan, on the back of that Liverpool victory. But look, we're going to talk about transfers tonight. Obviously, there's been a lot of updates in the last day or two in relation to Manchester United moving for some players. And, I mean, how serious are we in relation to signing some of these players? Obviously, Antony is the main one. It does look like we're going to go in with a bid. There hasn't been one as of yet. But it does look like Manchester United are going to go back in with an improved bid for him. We're going to talk about Gakpo, and is he an alternative to Antony, or are Manchester United potentially going to move for him as well? And we're also then obviously going to talk about Frenkie de Jong, because it wouldn't be a transfer talk show throughout the summer if we didn't speak about him. And basically, is Manchester United's pursuit of Frenkie de Jong over, or could we potentially go back in and look at signing him as well? I'm also going to talk as well about some maybe potential leavers and the general state of the transfer window for Manchester United over the course of the summer. Has it been a good one? Has it been a poor one? Let me know what you think in the chat. And of course, any, thoughts or opinions you have, make sure you get them into the chat as well, and we'll certainly go through them too. Please smash a like on the video as well, guys, if you haven't already done so. It helps out the channel an awful lot. Anyone watching on TikTok, keep tapping that screen for me, and anyone watching on YouTube, if you haven't already done so, make sure you put a thumbs up for the video. Great to see so many people in so far. Adam is in, good to see you, man. Alex is there as well, and on TikTok then we have Minion Cult is in, good to see you. Just John is there. We have Glasgow Celtic supporters is in, happy days. They say they've got 1,000 on Manchester United to win the league at 50-1. Well, make sure you check back in and give a few bob this way if that ends up happening. But it would certainly, I certainly think 50-1 is why you're getting that kind of odds, I suppose. But yeah, great to see so many people in. Look, let's get started, really. And I suppose the main talking point in the last couple of days has been Antony and the fact that Manchester United are looking to go back in with another bid. Now, early reports in the last couple of days have suggested that personal terms are already agreed with Antony and his agents, and he's ready to go. He wants to come to Manchester United. He hasn't really, according to reports, he hasn't been training with Ajax. Potentially he's not going to be playing for them again. So it does look like a deal is imminent. It's just down to Manchester United now to make a deal, or to make a bid more so. And look, I mean, do I want Antony to come to Manchester United? Absolutely. I think he would be a very good signing. Obviously, Ten Hag knows him quite well. And we've seen, especially the other night against Liverpool, Ten Hag signings in relation to players that he knows have turned out to be good so far. Specifically the other night against Liverpool. Obviously, Martinez and Malacia, were absolutely amazing. I think they were probably the two best players on the field, alongside maybe Varane. I thought they were absolutely fantastic. So, look, Manchester United going back in for Antony is a good thing. It all comes down to how, I suppose, how maybe strict you are in relation to Manchester United and how much you want them to pay for Antony, because it looks like we're going to be paying €100 million for him. Now, in my own opinion, paying €100 million for an Eredivisie player who scored 8 goals last year, I think maybe. I could be wrong on that now. I'd have to double check, but I just think it's too much. I think United are spending too much money on him, but it's typical of the Glazers, really, isn't it? And it's typical of the fact that obviously last week we seen all the reports coming out about Sir Jim Ratcliffe wanting to buy Manchester United. And what happens when there's protests and when there's pressure coming on the Glazers? They spend money to try and maybe calm this fan base down, take the pressure off themselves a little bit. That's usually what they end up doing. But I don't think that's going to work this time. So let them spend the money. Obviously, they haven't spent any of their own money, in the 17 years that they've been at Manchester United. So I don't see that changing. They're spending money that's, revenue and generated from Manchester United. And for that reason, that's the only reason why I think 100 million is too much for Antony. I think it goes back to, what we said before about potential mistakes made in the last 10 years about signing players, and maybe spending too much on them, but have also then given too much in relation to wages. And we can see that this summer especially, that we've really struggled to shift players on and move players on because of these high wages that they've been on. For example, you look at Eric Bailly going on loan, with the potential of a buy option next season, of 10 million maximum, and there's been reports, obviously, then that we're looking to maybe move on some of the younger players that wouldn't be on, massive wages. Case in point, James Garner, which I think is terrible given the fact that the chap hasn't even had a chance to play for Manchester United on a consistent basis yet. So I think it's tactics out of the Glazers, and if you look at before the Manchester United game, in the lead up to all of the big talks about protests and walkouts at Old Trafford and new ownership and maybe potentially a new bid coming in to buy out Manchester United, what happened? We were linked with Antony, Gakpo, De Jong, right back, and we were also linked with, there was one other player, so 5 players, and 3 of them basically, since the euphoria of Liverpool, 3 of them have basically fallen by the wayside, and we're still only in for 2 of them so far, so we'll get into that as well. But I think this could be seen as typical tactics from the Glazers. Their backs were to the wall, and there was a negative atmosphere around the club in relation to, fan base and things like that. We then get the great result against Liverpool. Fans obviously are in better humour and, are happy over the last few days. So what happens? Some of the interest in these players tapers off a bit. And if you're being completely conspiratorial, then you could say, well, this is how the Glazers work. So look, I don't know. I don't think any of us will ever know if that's the actual case. But we've seen trends over the years that the Glazers buy when their backs are to the wall. And when their backs are not to the wall and the fan base seem to be happy, they get some players in, they get a good result, they tend to back off and not spend as much. So, it's going to be interesting. But look, in relation to Antony, we're just waiting on the bid for Manchester United. Let's see how much it's going to be. It's going to be at least 90 million in my eyes. So, I think it's too much. But, if we're to get him, we're to get him. He certainly would be a good addition, to the forward line. We're very, very short when it comes to attacking options. You look at, obviously Rashford, Martial and Sancho played very well. Cristiano Ronaldo is probably going to be rotated throughout the season. I thought Elanga did have a very good game against Liverpool, obviously in the first half, but he was substituted at half-time. But I think that was more tactical than anything else. But can we rely on Martial, Rashford, Sancho and Elanga throughout the whole season as a rotated four, maybe along with Cristiano Ronaldo? I don't think we can. I think we need more options there. So that's why I'm happy enough that the likes of maybe Antony is going to come in. Let's see what people are saying here on the chat. Let's see. Sean says Phil Jones on 100k a week. Absolutely. I mean, how that lad is still at Manchester United. But it goes back to, and it proves how incompetent we've been in the transfer window this summer that, we're looking to move on the likes of James Garner, but yet Phil Jones is still sitting there collecting a cheque week in, week out. He's not going to play for Manchester United this season unless we're absolutely riddled with injuries. So it's just, it goes to show the incompetence of Manchester United's board in relation to doing deals, both getting players in and getting players out. CK says the Glazers are so transparent, now saying we can't get Frenkie de Jong. Washington says Ronaldo and Maguire are the only negatives to deal with. Let's see. Robert is saying Martinez is the new Vidic. Well, I tell you, he certainly showed shades of it the other night. Absolutely. Any update on Greenwood? No updates there. Ronaldo is the problem. Blind fan base. Well, look, I said it about Ronaldo before that I'm not overly concerned if he leaves. If he stays, he'll get his goals, but he has to be happy to rotate. He's not going to start every game. It's not the way Ten Hag wants to play. He wants to play a high press. He wants to play, with pace in behind, and that's not Ronaldo's game. So he's going to have to be content with being chopped and changed in and out of the team. I know he's not going to be happy with that. So maybe is it time to let him go? I think it maybe is. Let's see. Murph said, what happened to the walkout because you were winning? Well, there was no planned walkout from any of the supporters. The support fan base. Sorry, so the 1958 and MUFC. There was no walkout planned on Monday night. The walkout was a social media trend that caught on by people who had no input and fans that had no real say in relation to organisation of the protests on Monday night. There was never going to be a walkout. And I've said it from day one with walkouts. And Craig, thanks for the gift. Really appreciate it. I've said it with walkouts and empty Old Trafford. I don't think they work. The Glazers don't care, if Manchester United is half empty or not. They're still selling jerseys. People are still buying tickets. They're still buying merchandise. The only real way to get them out is if we can get behind maybe someone that is looking to buy the club, and really push that forward. Jam, thanks for the gift. Really appreciate it. Let's see what people are saying here. Cam says, we are wasting time by not bidding for Gakpo or Antony. We were supposed to sign them before Thursday. Adam said, exactly that. Time is against us now and we need to get more players over the line. Sell Phil Jones to Liverpool. They clearly need a new defence. And Patrick says, no one would have Phil Jones, though he's finished playing one game last season and it felt like a testimonial. Championship clubs may take Jones for a season before he calls time or maybe moves to the MLS, says Adam. And Cam says, when is the Europa draw? So the Europa draw is the 27th, 3 days' time. The Carabao Cup draw is tonight. So I'm not sure what time, maybe 8 o'clock. I'll keep an eye on it and see if I can give you an update while we're live. But look, in relation to Phil Jones, I think there would be a lot of clubs potentially interested in Phil Jones, even in the Premiership. Maybe lower teams, the likes of, maybe a Fulham or a Bournemouth or a Southampton. I think he would get interest, but he's collecting the checks every week, 100 grand, whatever it is. Happy days, just sit in, put his heels up and just collect the checks, But anyway, look, let's get on to Gakpo. Now, so Manchester United obviously have been linked with him for a number of weeks now, and it has been reported today by The Telegraph in Holland that PSV realised Gakpo's departure cannot be prevented if they were to receive the right offer. Okay, now, so it all comes down to Manchester United and the fact that are they looking at Gakpo as a alternative to Antony, or are they going to view him? Are they going to view the Gakpo situation as just another signing on top of it? In my opinion, I think we should be going for both. If we were to go for one and one only, I would probably go for Gakpo ahead of Antony. Case in point being is that we would pay half the price for Gakpo and it would allow us more money to go in for the likes of a number 9, a centre forward, or even the likes of a right back or something like that. But I certainly do think that we are going to be in for him before the end of the transfer window. I don't think he's going to be an alternative to Antony. Reason being is that we already have personal terms agreed with Antony, and talks and rumours have suggested that 80 million plus, which United are willing to offer, Ajax will do a deal. So I don't see that. I don't see Gakpo as being an alternative. I think United will go in for him before the end of the transfer window. Obviously, PSV are playing Rangers in the second leg of the Champions League qualifier, and I'm pretty sure that's tomorrow night. Let me just double check it here. Where are we? Qualifiers. Maybe it's not. I'm pretty sure it's tomorrow night. I can't really see it there, but I think it could be tomorrow night. Regardless of when it is, PSV are not going to let him go until that second leg is played, because obviously they want to get into the Champions League as much as possible. It's a big cash cow for them if they do get in there, obviously with TV rights and sponsorship and stuff like that. So they're obviously not going to let one of their star players go before that game. And that game is if it's not today, if it's not tonight, it's tomorrow. So I wouldn't be surprised in the next couple of days if we do make a move for him. It actually is tonight. Sorry, it's 8 o'clock. It's on in 15 minutes. Yeah, a lot of people are saying it there in the chat. So look, I think once we get a result for tonight's game, I wouldn't be surprised if we move very quickly on him. Look, I do think he's a fantastic player. He looks like one of these young, hungry players with plenty of potential that Eric Ten Hag can mould to his way of playing. A lot of reports have suggested, coming out of the Netherlands especially, that he is going to be one of the up-and-coming young talents in the next couple of years in Europe. So I think it'll be a good time to get him, And I've watched some highlights of them. I watched the Rangers and PSV game last week, and I thought he played quite well. But yeah, let's see what people are saying here. Let's see. Cam says, please be live for League Cup draw. And Patrick says, walkouts are just people saying, yeah, we paid money to watch the game, so take our money, but we refuse to watch. Silly would be more beneficial to stay at home. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you there, Patrick. And Cam says, besides the price, who do you think is a better player between Antony and Gakpo? It's a hard one to judge. Obviously, Antony is probably more established in the Eredivisie than Gakpo would be. He's a couple of years older than him. But I think if you were looking at potential over the next few years, I probably would go with Gakpo. Cottle is in. Good to see you, man. Is the De Jong saga finally over? Right, so let's get into it while it's been mentioned. So it's been mentioned by numerous outlets today. Laurie Whitwell in The Athletic is the main one to come out with it and say that basically the Manchester United's pursuit of Frenkie de Jong is over and we're not going to get him. And it's basically suggesting that the fact that we've got Casemiro as a second choice solidifies that, and Manchester United won't be going back in for him. It looks like he's after digging his heels in and he wants to stay put. Can I see us going back in for him? I remain confident that we will make a late move for him. Now, that's whether we get him or not is another question. I don't think Manchester United's interest is completely gone, and I mean, look, can I see us going in for him maybe in a transfer deadline day? Yeah, I certainly could. And I've said it from day one with De Jong that it's going to go all the way to the transfer deadline day. I've always thought that, given the fact that we've been linked with a player like De Jong, given the situation that Manchester United are in relation to no Champions League and, not, challenging for leagues and things like that, it was always going to be one that dragged on and on and on and on. And look, a lot of the talk was, early on in the transfer window was basically saying that, De Jong doesn't want to move to Manchester United. I was always under the impression that I think he would be open to a move to Manchester United. It was given the fact that Barcelona wouldn't pay him his 17 million deferred wages. I still think that's the case. I really do. Why would he leave a club that owe him 17 million? It just doesn't make sense to me. Now, 17 million in relation to a transfer is not an awful lot, but 17 million for one player to be paid, and to have that wages deferred, and basically your employer refuses to pay you. I mean, it's huge. It really, really is huge. So for that reason, I can see, between now and the end of the transfer window, Barcelona maybe giving way a little bit. Could they drop the price tag on him? Potentially. And Manchester United do seem to be the only team or only club still interested in him. So, look, I don't think this is over. I really don't. But, look, the next, obviously, we have a week tomorrow, the transfer window closes. So we'll keep a close eye on it. And which, by the way, to let everyone know, if you're new or you haven't heard already, I am going to be going live for the entirety of the transfer deadline day. I think I'm going to go live maybe at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're going to be live all the way up until the 11 o'clock deadline. So make sure you're liking, subscribing, following, all of that good stuff. Anyone watching on TikTok as well, if you click on my homepage, the link for my YouTube channel is there. We're going to be live all day on YouTube, so make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube channel there as well. De Jong never wanted to join, says Cam. That's the issue. Czech Casemiro took less than 2 weeks to agree to join us, but De Jong doesn't want to join us. I think we need to sign another midfielder, De Jong or Savage. It would strengthen our centre midfield. I agree with you, Cam, on a couple of issues there. I do agree we need to sign another centre midfielder, and I do agree that it's dragged on too long. But I don't agree with you the fact that maybe he doesn't want to join Manchester United. Like I said, I think the main reason for it is the fact that he's owed 17 million by Barcelona and nothing else. Like if you were in a job, okay, and the boss man owed you, half a year's wages, and then you were going to a different job that maybe didn't pay you as much, but you were guaranteed a job for life out of it. Would you leave your current job without getting paid that 6 months' wages? I wouldn't. I'd stay put until I got paid. And the second I got it, I'd be gone. I'd be out the door. Because I wouldn't want it happening to me again. And we're just scaling that up in relation to a football club in De Jong and 17 million. So I think it's just as simple as that. Let's see what people are saying on TikTok here. Make sure you follow on TikTok as well, guys. Daily Manchester United content. Ronaldo to Ajax says Prime. Is Ronaldo going to Ajax? I haven't heard anything of it. It would be interesting, and it would give Ronaldo what he wants in relation to Champions League football, and it could be a deal that we could potentially get done in relation to getting Antony for a bit cheaper. So look, I would certainly be open to it, absolutely. But again, it's something we'll have to keep our eyes on. Do you agree Casemiro is a fouling merchant? No, I don't. I think he is a player that stops other teams from playing, and I think every good team needs one of them in their team. You look at Fabinho does it for Liverpool, Rodri does it for Manchester City. You have Højbjerg does it for Spurs to a lesser extent. So I don't think he's a fouling merchant. He does make fouls, but to play the game and to do the job that he does, you have to maybe make a foul every now and again. Let's see what other people are saying here. Craig says, Barca want to hold out for as much as possible, then they use it to pay De Jong so they aren't paying. Yeah, I think it's just a standoff. I really do. Let's see. Everyone, including United, assumed that Barca would do the right thing, and they haven't, says user. Yep, I agree with you. Obed says, is Antony coming? Well, it's getting close, Obed. We're waiting on Manchester United to make an offer, but I think it'll get done. I take the pay cut and carry on, says the legend. Well, look, would you take the pay cut and lose out on the 17 million that Barcelona owe you? That's a big ask. That's a very, very, very big ask. But look, let's see what happens. Keep smashing the like button for us as well, guys, on TikTok if you haven't done so. Let's try to get up to 5,000 likes before we finish. I really appreciate it. Helps the channel out a ton, gets more people into the chat as well. Casemiro's a great signing, says Christian. And Owen says, Antony, Gakpo, De Jong this year. Then next year, Henderson in goal. And we need a top right back and top striker. Well, that would be good planning, absolutely. Eddie says, why are we not signing Milinkovic-Savic? We need more muscle on the pitch. Yeah, well, look, I think he's absolutely a fantastic option for Manchester United. I think he would be a very similar signing now to that of Casemiro. I think the fact that Casemiro is in now, I don't think we're going to be linked with him again. The likes of De Jong would be more of a number 8. With Casemiro in the 6, and then either an Eriksen or a Bruno in the 10, and that would be ideal for me. Craig says, personally, I'd love us to get Harry Kane over any striker. I'm a huge fan of his. Yeah, look, he's a brilliant signing. He would be. But I think, he's not going to leave He's not going to leave Spurs now, given the fact that Conte is in there. They're doing well, so I couldn't see him leaving. The legend said we should go for Jude Bellingham. Well, look, Jude Bellingham will be up for sale next summer. Borussia Dortmund don't sell two of their Tier A players in the one summer. They never have and they never will. And this summer they sold Haaland. So you would be expecting and the summer before they sold Sancho to us. So next summer you would be expecting Bellingham to be up for grabs. Whether Manchester United get him or not is another question, because I'm sure every top team in Europe will be in for him. So it will be difficult, Colin says, when is deadline day? So deadline day is next Thursday. Let me just double check it. Next Thursday, the 1st, I think. I think it's the 1st. Let me just double check it here now for you. When is transfer deadline day? Transfer window shuts at 11 p.m. on September the 1st. So, yeah, we're looking at next Thursday is transfer deadline day. So I'm going to be live all day next Thursday. So make sure you're tuning in. Jump in and out if you want. Obviously, I don't expect everyone to be live with me for 8 or 9 hours, but I'll be here. So make sure you join at some stage. Sharma, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. And Cam says, United should not get carried away by the Liverpool win and become slow in signing players, because I'll be sad. Yeah, well, look, there's a week to go. It's going to be a frantic week for Manchester United, I do believe. I do think that we are going to get multiple signings in by the end of the transfer window. Who them signings are, look, Antony is pretty much sewn up. I really do think. Whether we go in for Gakpo as well is another option. We're going to be in for another central midfielder. But look, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be exciting. Let's see what happens. In relation to, obviously, players on the way out of Manchester United, obviously, there has been talk today that Erik ten Hag has given his approval for Hannibal Mabry to go out on loan. The club will give him, or to a club that will give him the most playing time. I think this is a smart move, to be honest. As good as I think a player he is, I do think a loan option is probably the best move for him. He's with the likes of Casemiro coming in now as well, and if we do sign another central midfielder, his game time would be limited, and especially with attacking options there as well, if we do get the likes of Antony in and Gakpo. So I think it's a good option for him to go out on loan. In relation to Eric Bailly, obviously he is in Marseille at the moment on loan. There is an option to buy. Craig, thanks for the gift. Really appreciate it, man. Yeah, option to buy. Now, I've heard as little as £10 million for Eric Bailly in relation to the option to buy next year if Marseille want to. I mean, it's just typical of Manchester United, really, isn't it? I mean, if Eric Bailly was being sold by any other club in the world, he would easily be 25 million. Easily be 25 million. And it's just the incompetency of Manchester United, giving players massive wages, unable to shift them off the books then. And what happens, either you can shift them either you get them off the books and get pennies for them, or you see what happened this summer with Lingard, Pogba, Mata to a lesser extent, all of these kind of players that just walk out the door for nothing. I mean, Lingard and Pogba, for example, that's €70 million or £70 million walking out the door for nothing. Just because of Manchester United's incompetency to get players out the door, giving them too much wages at the start, and being unable to shift them then once it's time to go. So it's frustrating. It is frustrating as a United fan. And look, I don't want to be completely negative, but because we have done some good business. I think the 3 signings that we've made so far have been good signings. Eriksen looks really good. Even in the 2 games that we've lost, the first 2 games of the season, he was probably our best player in both of them. And then we see, obviously, with the Liverpool game with Martinez and Malacia, basically both of them, as contenders for man of the match. So, I think we've signed quite well. And let's just hope we can get some more in before the end of the transfer window, because we do need it. Let's call a spade a spade. We do need more signings before the transfer window ends. I hope we can get them. And I do think we will get more players in the door. I really do. Let's see. Sharmer says, are you having a good day? I certainly am, my friend. And JJ says, I'm a pool fan. Well done, better team won on the night. Yeah, well, look, I appreciate it, JJ. And there's a lot of Liverpool fans that have been interacting with me on some of my TikToks since Monday night, and there's a lot of them the opposite to you that wouldn't say congratulations, well done. There's been a lot of them saying Manchester United got lucky and Liverpool were actually the better team on the night because they had so much possession. Possession means fuck all if you don't put the ball in the net, and you don't work hard and you don't defend well. And Liverpool didn't do any of those things, and Manchester United did. So they were effective when they were on the ball. They took their chances. They were hungry. They smothered Liverpool. They narrowed their chances. So yeah, look, I think Manchester United absolutely deserved the win. And if I was looking at that from a neutral standpoint, not being a Manchester United fan, I would be saying the same. Good for Hannibal, says Cottle, to go out on loan and get some game time. Yep, absolutely. Let's see what people are saying here. Jube says, will Casemiro get visa in time for Saturday? I think he is going to be available for Saturday. Yeah, which is good news. Fully agree on Ericsson. He's been brilliant, says Philip. User says 100 million, big bucks. He better be good. Well, there's a lot of pressure going to come on top of him now with coming from the Eredivisie with 100 million. Does he have the head for it? That remains to be seen. Johnny says, would you start the same team on Saturday? I would change Maguire. I would change Maguire. I would change McTominay for Casemiro. That's the only change I would make. Yeah, it's the only change I would make. I think everyone else does, and that probably would be a bit harsh on McTominay, but you can't have Casemiro sitting on the sideline, can you really? So yeah, that's the only change I really would make. Let's see. The legend says United easily the bigger team right now. Any new signings, says Wubichet. No new signings as of yet. Paul says Leicester won the league with an average of 30% possession. There you go. And Juan says Gakpo and Antony transfer is fading according to Mark Goldbridge. Look, it's not fading, I don't think. Maybe Gakpo, but Antony certainly isn't. I mean, Manchester United already have personal terms agreed. It's just how much they're going to offer to see whether... and they'll keep offering. If they lose out on Antony now for a second time in one transfer window, there'll be a laughing stock. So they'll buy him. They'll spend ridiculous money on him. What number is Casemiro? Did I hear somewhere that he's taking the number 18 jersey, I think? I could be wrong on that now, but I think I read somewhere that he's taking 18. James says, should include a loan deal with Garnacho going to Ajax for the year. Well, look, that mightn't be a bad option either. I think Garnacho is good enough to stick around and get game time at United, especially in the likes of the Carabao Cup or, Europa League group stages, things like that. I think he would get game time. Would it be better to get Gakpo over Antony, says Katsun? Well, in relation to finances, I think it would, because it would leave more money to go out and get another player, because we get him for half the price. The legend says Antony will start for sure. He has that air of confidence and aggression that makes him special. User says, great change. I approve that. And Paul says, seeing Casemiro hugging Keane on the touchline Monday night, showing respect, absolutely. Showing respect to the greatest of all time in relation to a centre midfielder, Roy Keane. Keane was shaking hands with everybody on Monday night. Let's see what people are saying here. No, you're right, he's wearing 18, says Johnny. Yeah. Mark says, I think the Antony transfer is only being held up by Ajax getting in Ziyech from Chelsea. That certainly could be right, Mark. They're working on a deal with Chelsea as well. So, Patrick says, let's see. Oh, no, sorry. Cottle says Martial should start over Elanga, in my opinion. Patrick said McTominay just sent a CV to McDonald's. And heard Casemiro is taking 18. Yeah, he is. Can we both have De Jong and Antony? I think we could get both. I think we could. It all comes down to how aggressive Manchester United are in the transfer market, especially with De Jong. But obviously the 17 million is still a big talking point there. So we'll see. Let's see what other people are saying. Philip said, thought Lukaku was back for a second, but it was only Stormzy. He's a big man, so he is. He certainly is. But look, I mean, it's we haven't had an awful lot of updates since Monday night. But look, I mean, the one thing that, you know, and I think a lot of Manchester United fans are thinking the same as well, is, okay, we beat Liverpool and it's great to beat Liverpool. And King, thanks for the gift. Really appreciate it. And it is great to beat Liverpool, and there's an air of positivity back about the club in the fan base and things like that. But I think it's important not to take the foot off the pedal in relation to the Glazer out movement. You know, I do think we need to keep it up, and you know, if for people like us that maybe don't have direct contact with, you know, Manchester United, and maybe there's people in the chat that are in Manchester and go to all of these protests, and if you do, then rightly so. But if it's as little as putting the hashtag Glazers out into your, you know, social media post, then do it, because it does make a difference. Manchester United track all of these trends. They track social media to see how the atmosphere is within the fan base. So, you know, hashtag Glazers out, you know, is, you know, it is being taken note of. So I think that is quite important. So yeah, just keep it up. Keep it up. Let's see. Cottle says, just pay the 17 million already, for fuck's sake. Well, look, Cottle, I think that could potentially happen before the end of the transfer window. I think there's a three-way standoff here. Do you ever see the old westerns where there's three lads pointing guns at each other? Then all of a sudden, pew, pew. You're just waiting for someone to, you know, to pull the trigger. And if that's Barcelona pull the trigger first in paying the wages to get them out the door, then great. If it's Manchester United pulling the trigger to pay that 17 million, then great. Or if it's De Jong pulling the trigger to get rid of that 17 million and join Manchester United, then great. But, you know, we're at standoff at the moment, you know. So let's see what happens. Patrick says, it's great getting all these players, but we're still going to be paying these current clowns wages because who would have them? Patrick says, hashtag Glazers out. And if they can afford Lewandowski, they can afford to pay their debts. Absolutely. Absolutely. Still need a right back and a backup keeper, says Mark. Yeah, so in relation to a backup keeper, guys, just to give you maybe some updates on it. Obviously, Manchester United are in the market for a backup goalkeeper. And let me just pull up the details here. So, and this is only in the past couple of hours, Manchester United have made an offer for a goalkeeper in the last few hours. This is according to Pletty Goal. Now, they haven't mentioned who it was, but they also say that it's not... let me see... It's not Kevin Trapp, and that Manchester United have cooled their interest at the moment over Eintracht Frankfurt's 25 million valuation. However, Ten Hag does want competition for David De Gea. This is coming out by James Ducker in the Telegraph as well, so basically a good reliable source. But according to Pletty Goal, then Manchester United have made a bid for a second goalkeeper. We don't know who as of yet, but look, that's something I think we'll find out pretty soon. Let's read out one or two more comments before we go, guys. Please smash a like on the video as well if you haven't already done so. You know, helps out the channel an awful lot. Anyone watching on YouTube, take a second, hit the thumbs up button for me. And make sure you hit follow and subscribe as well, guys. Anyone watching on YouTube, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Helps the channel out a lot. Make sure you're following on TikTok as well for daily United content. Shouldn't have sold Henderson, says Lewis. Well, he's only on loan, so the door is not completely closed. Are Liverpool going to finish higher than Man U? Well, probably. But, you know, it's just good to be ahead of them, you know. Yeah, we done Antony already. We should have never sold Romero. Yeah, I agree with you there. Are Liverpool going to finish? Yeah, we read that one. And Patrick says, we should have gone for Kasper Schmeichel. Yeah, well, Kasper Schmeichel might have been a bad show. I think maybe he does want first team football, though. That's the only thing. And JJ says, more than likely another title for City. United in for a big fight for fourth, which I don't think they get. Who to blame then? Well, I think if we can make some good signings between now and the transfer window and keep up, you know, some way levels of performance that we did against Liverpool the other night, then I certainly do think that we had that we would have a good chance. But yeah. It's going to be interesting to see. Eagle is in and says Kasper Schmeichel is 35 years old, though. That's true. That's true. But look, guys, we're going to finish up there. Obviously, it's been a short enough one. Look, we have there hasn't been an awful lot of updates in relation to Manchester United. It's the same kind of rumours we're hearing. But look, I do think that we're going to hear more in the next maybe day or two. Hopefully by Friday, we will have some updates in relation to it. I want to see what time potentially this Carabao Cup draws on. I think it's probably on later after the games. Let's see. Yeah, following the conclusion of Tranmere Rovers and Newcastle, which, by the way, I think Newcastle are 1-0 down. But yeah, we're going to be live again Friday night for the Transfer Talk show, guys. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to do the watch along on Saturday. I've got just commitments that I can't get out of. But I'm going to be potentially doing maybe one or two quick lives on TikTok in relation to maybe updates on the game and stuff like that. I don't think I'm going to be able to do a full watch along. But look, that may change between now and then, so just keep an eye. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, all of that good kind of stuff to YouTube. Anyone that's watching on TikTok, link is on my homepage to all my social medias. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel and give the podcast a listen to. We haven't been able to do a podcast this week. Unfortunately, I haven't. One of the guys that's supposed to come on with me has been unable to do it, so we said we'd give it a miss for a week. But we'll be back again with the podcast next week. But listen to the old episodes if you wish. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing, all that good kind of stuff, guys. I really appreciate everyone that's been in. We'll see you Friday night at 7:30 for the Transfer Talk show, and hopefully we'll have some updates and some good news. Peace out.